Hello and welcome to another episode of Evolve Point, a Shadowverse podcast. I'm your host, Ignideus.
I'm your co-host, Kaelan.
And it's been, I was going to say it's been 1 week, but I can't, that's a powerful sentence. I can't utter that lightly.
Powerful and inaccurate.
Yeah, because it's been 2 weeks.
A little more than that, I think.
Yeah, a little more than 2 weeks. I've been away recently. I had a family emergency that got me out of the headspace of making content, but everything's okay now, so I'm back into it. And we are back to talk about Shadowverse. Not that there's a whole lot to talk about, though, unfortunately, this week.
We're in a bit of a content drought, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's just waiting for the next expansion. We'll just jump right into the news, blast through it, what little there is of it anyway. They announced the 6th anniversary Japanese stream. It's going to be on June 14. We're expecting details on the next expansion, as well as 6th year anniversary in-game events.
I'm hoping they do just as good as they did last year, because last year was amazing.
Was the alternate default leaders last year?
Oh, that might have been the year before, but last year was definitely, everybody got to pull, was it 10 packs a day for 10 days?
Yeah, let's get
from
that
any
going.
pack. Yeah, that was great. I got like 5 leader cards from that.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, no matter what happens, I'm excited to see the next expansion for sure.
Oh, and a special Grand Prix will probably be coming around again.
Oh, that's true. That
Legacy
usually happens
decks,
as well.
maybe.
Legacy.
Yeah,
Legacy decks is my favorite type of Grand Prix too. So
yeah, it's pretty good.
that's just because I'm a boomer, though.
Yeah, and Legacy decks definitely encourages you to play more than just the one free Grand Prix run a day, because you get to try out all those decks that you can't anymore, because some of them, the cards are different. Some of them just would not function in ranked mode anymore.
Some of them got nerfed into the ground.
Yeah.
But now you can relive those Damien days.
Back in my day.
Paradise Rotation Cup Volume 2 is currently ongoing. I believe we're in Stage 2 right now.
Yeah, we're a couple days into Stage 2.
Have you been playing it?
Yeah, and I've been doing horribly, but I've also been exclusively using Dragon, and Dragon's in a pretty weak place right now in rotation.
It is. Buff Dragon was doing so strongly pre-mini, and then now it's just sort of all spiraled downhill for that class. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the esports corner later. I came back to Shadowverse after that brief hiatus, right on the last day of Group A, and of Stage 1, and I managed to sneak into Group A with Portal, of all things. That was fun.
Yeah, the cosmetics for this Grand Prix are the Xion spell card, Mercurial Might.
So, something I don't care about.
Yeah.
Maybe if I was Tonko, I'd be more serious about this Grand
Oh,
Prix.
speaking of Tanko, he beat me to get a 4-1 in the Grand Prix in Stage 1. He actually qualified for Group A by beating me on stream.
What's up with this? Like, we're meeting everyone on Grand Prix now. Like, on my Stage 1 run where I got in, I got a 4-1, and the one loss that I had was to Brangwin, who's a competitive SEAO player. And it's like, oh, this isn't really fair, is it? why are you matching me up against this guy?
I'm currently 1-1 with Petty because I've beaten him in ranked before. So I got to get that in just to make sure I don't look like a loser.
Yeah, very important that we don't look like losers on our Shadowverse podcast, Kaelan.
Yeah, very important.
June Battle Pass rewards, so for this month, are Glistering Angel and Burgent Layered Sorceress. Hey, that's my card!
Yeah, that's your card.
You can't play Shadowverse on the Onion. Shout out to you know that reference. The classic
and
line.
This is the 3rd month of the Battle Pass, so increased Battle Pass points as the mission rewards for 25, 50, 75, and 100 wins. So pretty easy to actually get it done.
I've never completed a battle pass in Shadowverse before.
I always get them done in the first 2 months, so this 3rd month increased points doesn't affect me.
Yeah, we're like opposite ends of this. I always just play the game in scuffed ways, like playing Amulet Haven for hours and nothing else, and then I never get any missions done, and then my battle pass never goes up. And you finish it ASAP.
Just do my daily quests.
Yeah, I should be better about that, because I always buy the premium pass and then never complete it. I'm like the worst type of battle pass consumer.
I am the opposite of that. I just get my daily quest done. That's usually 4 wins a day, which is all you need to get to level 80 by the end of the 2nd month, sometimes 100. And I only buy the premium pass once I'm at level 100.
I buy the premium pass once I'm at level 25 because I really only care about the leader.
Probably the least important thing for me is the leader, because I only have 3 sets of leaders that I actually use and any from the story I find to be of lesser quality than something from a premium collaboration like Code Geass or Fate.
I guess this is why it's good that there's two of us on this podcast, because
Yeah, we're different, even though we're
different.
identical on the whole maining dragon thing.
Yeah. Other than that, we're different people. He's from Australia and I'm from a not fucked up country, so we got a good dynamic going on. Anyway, Kaelan, it's your favorite segment, Esports Corner. Wee woo! Although this time it's not much of a corner. It's like the corner of maybe a Barbie's Playhouse or something, because there's not a whole lot to talk about. We just got one JCG, of course, JCG being the online Japanese tournaments, happened on the 5th of this month. And shout out to Jif as well for compiling the stats as always. And it really just confirms what we already know. PostMini is that it's a shadow, rune, and sword meta, and pretty much nothing else succeeds. So it's really different. It's really different compared to PreMini, what the meta just kept constantly evolving. But I think the writing was on the wall even before the mini came out. That stuff was starting to settle down, like near the end of the PreMini meta. It was already gravitating towards Shadow Rune and Sword, and now post-mini has just sort of solidified that fact.
Yeah, for sure. Dragon, Blood, they've completely dropped off at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
But the real loser of the mini expansion turned out to be Forest. It's completely dead in the water at the moment.
All they got in the mini expansion was Control Forest support, right? And that's not anything. So, and not to mention that after the next set, Arya and Sekka rotate out too, so I'm curious to see how they'll bring Forest back from the dead here come next set. But yeah, the meta is pretty much solidly Shadow Rune and Sword and nothing else. Which brings us to the main topic. 8 minutes into the recording, and that's before I start editing, so you know this is going to be a short one.
Oh yeah.
We're not even in the pre-release drought. We're in the pre-news of the release drought, because next week after the anniversary stream, I'm sure we'll have stuff to talk about. But right now,
there'll be a lot.
But right now, all there is to talk about is the fact that the meta has sort of stabilized, stagnated, if you're more pessimistic. What decks are you playing to tide you over until the next release?
I recently picked up a rather annoying Heal Haven that
you're one of those.
Taking into the I've considered taking it into the Grand Prix, but I just feel so dirty playing it.
Yeah.
It's really unfair at the moment.
I've made my stance on control decks in the recent meta clear. I'm very much not a fan, but that's just me. Yesterday, I tried out Amulet Haven for a couple hours, and boy, it's not good, Caleb.
Not even quite sure what Amulet Haven is, because I've seen Jartalant decks that run Golden Lion for Infinite Jartalant, and the new Haven 5/5 Legendary that has the Clash Banish.
Vajra Champion, yeah. So the idea is that you just try and get Vajra in your mulligan, play a bunch of amulets out to reduce it as much as possible, then you get early Vajras, and some classes can't deal with that. Like if you're up against Flame and Glass and you get Vajra down really early, it's nice. If you're up against Portal, Vajra's pretty nice, because not a whole lot of Full Blast Gunner on ladder right now. But when you're up against Dragon, it's the saddest thing in the world.
Drache is definitely a good tool for dealing with them as well.
You know, I got jebaited into playing this deck too, because I won on Shadowverse Wins Classic, the net deck technology, and there was a 21 win streak Amulet Haven deck, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot, and I just proceeded to do nothing but lose for the next 2 hours. So.
Massive sad.
It's rough out there, man. Right at the release of the mini, I played a lot of weird stuff too. I tried out Burial Rite aggro, which is kind of fun, but I mean, obviously it's not very strong, but the fact that you can use Sin Eater to your advantage there to get turn 5, turn 6 wins, when they do happen, it's really satisfying.
Sin Eater is a pretty cool card.
It is pretty cool. I think Burial Rite's definitely going to see some love come next set, especially with what they were planting the seeds of with this mini, right? But you know what's sad, Kaelan, is that in the next set, nothing is lost from Flaming Glass Shadow. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, that hurts. No fan of Flame and Glass. I thought it would just be a meme before the expansion came out, but then basically everybody noticed it was the 7 Storm, and that's all it needed to be.
I think it's just Kerninos that's busted, man. That card needs... Something has to happen to Kerninos.
She does so much.
Yeah. Anything else you've been playing, Kaelan? I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Over on Unlimited, I've been playing a little bit of Heal Haven, but a Elena version. That's pretty fun.
That is neat. I heard that Blood really fell off in Unlimited because a lot of people were playing Handless.
I got Handless Blood to Grandmaster and then immediately deleted the deck. And at about that time, everybody stopped playing handless blood and moved over to a kind of control Evo blood. The new
Ooh,
blood legendary turns out it's pretty good. Lord of Devastation.
Lord
Yeah,
of D,
he
yeah.
he finishes games, accelerate to summon 2 Lord of Ds. It ends games pretty quickly, like consistently on turn 6 and 7. That 8 damage, or even if they just sit on the board, it's devastating, and Blood has no problem evolving enough.
I was not very optimistic for that card in rotation, but I guess in Unlimited you have way more evolve tools as well.
Yeah, in Unlimited, completely different ball game. He's actually meta.
That's pretty sick.
Speaking of something we were wrong about, have you seen a Ghost Town apparition?
Yeah, tons. I don't think I was wrong about that at all.
I haven't even seen one yet.
I have seen tons of Ghost Town apparitions, and I hate it so much. So
I haven't even
much.
seen one. It's one of the only cards from this mini I haven't seen yet.
What? That's unreal. Are we just on different ladders or something? Can I go on yours instead? I hate this card. I hate it here. Get me out of here.
Okay, yeah. I haven't seen either sword card. Noble Shield Maiden and Mars just don't exist.
Well, I think that wasn't that much of a surprise. Like, those cards aren't very good. I mean, despite not receiving any new cards or any new buffs, Sword is still one of the top dogs in this expansion.
Yeah, instead of utilizing Sword's new cards, they just figured out the deck and what they had before, and that's become meta.
You put a question here on the doc that I think is a very interesting one. Will you remember Edge of Paradise fondly?
Yeah, I think that's a question I ask for every expansion. And for Edge of Paradise, I think it was far too tainted by the month 1 domination of Handless Blood for me to remember this expansion fondly.
Really? I have an opposite view. I think that pre-mini meta of Edge of Paradise, it was really fun to follow the developments in the meta, because every week it felt like people were discovering new tech and new decks were rising to prominence. So I'll remember that part of the expansion fondly, at least. The experimentation and the development of decks that made the meta shift so rapidly and frequently.
Yeah, it did take a week or two before people figured out how to counter Blood, but as soon as that happened, the floodgates were opened on deck experimentation.
But I feel like that's always the case early expansion, though. Like, the aggro deck takes over for a
It's
while.
quite often that a Bloodcraft deck just dominates the start of an expansion.
Yeah.
The most historical example being Wonderland Dreams.
Yeah. But in Wonderland Dreams, they had to nuke that deck from orbit to get it to stop. This time, it was just
Completely
players figuring it out.
bombarded. It still hasn't recovered. Some of those cards never got unnerved.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal. I think post-mini, I'm going to look back on this way less fondly, just because the bitterness of having Shadow be tier 1 every time is starting to grate on me.
Shadow has 3 tier 1 decks in Unlimited right now, and I don't even know about rotation. Skeleton Radar dominating there. The Burial Rite deck just reanimates so many liches, it's not funny. I went up against 5 liches on turn 4. That's just not something you can deal with.
I don't play a whole lot of Unlimited, which is also why I'm glad that you're my co-host here, because you do, and so you can fill in the gaps for me here. But the short amount of Unlimited I did play, I definitely saw a lot of BR Shadow jumping around.
Haven's got good counters for it, especially in the redone version of their Omen that just nukes
Marwyn.
any board. Yeah, Marwyn. Absolutely amazing card, and if it destroys a bunch of enemy followers, then you just get a banish, which helps deal with Shadow even more.
Unlimited sounds kind of fun. Maybe I'll hop into Unlimited to tide me over before the next release.
Yeah, you could probably get GM in it.
I could probably, but will I, is the question. Because I don't know if you saw my Twitter, I just got my Shadowverse Evolve packs in the mail. Most likely what I'm going to do to tide myself over till the next release is play Shadowverse Evolve with people online. I think that in between the physical game, the anime, and the main game, even in like periods of drought, if you're a Shadowverse faithful, there's stuff that you can keep up with. But definitely it is a slow week.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a whole lot more to talk about for this episode.
Yeah.
It's only been 18 minutes on the recording. By the time I edit it, it'll be like 15 maybe. It'll be a short one.
But that's fine. This was always a short podcast anyway.
Yeah, that's true. It's Short King Summer, didn't you know?
Oh my god.
That's how we
You
do it
are
around here.
anything but short. As far as I know, you're 6'8".
No, I'm 6'1". No, yes, I'm not the height of Master Chief. I wish, dude, but but hey, it's okay. Short people live longer anyway, so I'm gonna die at 40. I can feel it.
Oh my god.
Weird way to end the podcast, but it's gonna be it for this episode. We'll see you again next week. It's definitely gonna be a more news-filled episode next week with the anniversary stuff getting released.
We'll actually have an expansion to talk about.
That's true, yeah, and the reveal of the expansion too. So yeah, lots to talk about starting next week. So tune in again then. This is just a short one to let you all know that we're back. And we'll see you next time. Check us out on our socials on Twitter. Links in the description as always. And subscribe to this podcast on wherever you find podcasts. We're all over the place, so you can find us pretty much anywhere.
Literally everywhere.
I've been Igni. That's been Kaelan. We still don't know how to record an outro. See you later.